Hi guys, welcome today. My name's Rebecca and this is Megan and we are Sister Goals. We like to chat. We're two sisters that love to challenge each other and try new things together. And today we are going to go through book 5 through 8 on our Rory Gilmore reading challenge. So let's dive in.
And so for those of you who are interested, the Rory Gilmore Reading Challenge is a list that was created, and it has all of the books that were mentioned or used or within the Rory Gilmore series. So that is what we've been going through. We've set a large challenge for ourselves to read all of the books. On it, we're going to link the list to you down in the comments below. So if you're interested in checking it out. We are going to begin with one of the books that we just read, The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. Fairly popular one. It's a 2003 mystery thriller that follows the symbologist Robert Langdon and cryptologist Sophie Neveu after a mysterious murder at the Louvre. So Becca, what did you think about this book?
I really liked this book. I have read it before, so I have read it in, I believe, high school time. And the thing about this book, which makes it so fun, is just all the mystery, but then also including puzzles into it. And so sometimes I'm there and I'm trying to figure out the puzzle. And because it's been so long since I read it, it was kind of fun again because I forgot some of the puzzles that were in there. I knew like a general concept of what was about to happen, but then at the same time I was like, oh yeah, what was it that he like tried to move this Da Vinci device? And I love how they put some history into it as well, which is kind of fun. And but it is a fiction book, right? Like it's not, yeah, it's like it's not like real, but I was like it makes you feel like it is with some of the history.
Yeah, no, I really liked it. I would definitely recommend it. I think it's interesting what you say about having read it before. In this list, there are a lot of books that we've already read before, whether it would have been in high school or I was an English major in college. They would have been required reading during any of those times. And like you said, this was also just a fun read back when I was in high school. So I am really finding it interesting as I go back through the list to see how my viewpoints have changed and what I think is interesting and how much I've forgotten and then remember again as we're going through it. I would definitely recommend this book. So there's also a movie that's pretty popular about it with Tom Hanks in the film. Becca, have you seen that one?
I have, yes. I actually own it. I should rewatch it.
You should rewatch it, yes. So I think we mentioned too in our last episode that a lot of the books that we will be reading are also made into movies. So please check those out as well if the storyline sounds interesting to any of you at all. The second book that we're going to talk about today is The Wizard of Oz by Frank Baum, and we're going to be talking about not the movie here, but the original book that was written in 1900. It follows the story of a young girl who is whisked away to the land of Oz, and it's so different from the movie. Becca, what do you think?
So I really like this one. I have never read this book before, so it was brand new completely for me. And I loved the way you just dove into the universe of the different realms of the wizard, like of Oz. And in the book, all of a sudden there's like Munchkin Land, and then they talk about like it's based on North, like East, and then like the White Witches, and there's so many different realms with inside Oz, which was just fascinating because like Megan said, this is not the movie, and so the movie just misses so much, and I didn't even know that. So it was exciting to dive into the book and to see it all. It was a little bit more gory than I thought it was gonna be. It was definitely had some scenes that were a little more intense than I was expecting for a children's book. I definitely think I highly recommend this one to you, especially if you have children and sharing it with them. But I think that needs to be said that it is a little gorier and that maybe a later elementary school child would be best for this rather than the younger elementary. But wow, it's really good. Lots of different creatures that were never mentioned before and that I've ever heard about, and it's very exciting. What about you, Megan?
I really liked it, and I have read this as a child. I want to say I was older elementary when I read it, so it's been years. And I think this time around I was really struck by the character development. So what really stuck to me in the original version of the book was how much the characters really wanted to be something, and then the author just did so many examples of how the characters already what they wanted to be. And I just that really struck me this time, going through like the lion and how he wants to be brave, but you kind of see he's already brave. It's inside of him, and maybe that's the big message that they were able to put in the movie. And I'd completely forgotten about it in the book, and I that stuck out to me more. Just realizing, in life, what you want to be, it's probably already in you a little bit, like, and you just don't realize it. So I enjoyed that aspect of it. We're also going to be talking about The Catcher in the Rye by Jd Salinger. This is a novel that was published in 1951. It follows a young man, Holden Caulfield, as he struggles with his mental health and then also being a teenager. And Becca had some thoughts on this one, I know.
Well, it was challenging for me, this one. The young man, Mr. Caulfield, was just a very woe me, this is happening to me, it's so terrible. But at the same time, he's he is basically causing some of these things to himself because of his actions and how he's portraying himself in the world. And so sometimes to me, it seems like he's whining a lot. And so for me, sometimes when I'm reading that over and over throughout the book, it gets a little challenging for me to want to read. But that's just particularly me. I know you had a different viewpoint though.
Yes, I remember reading this in high school, and I loved it in high school. For a time, I would have probably said it was one of my favorite books. It just really seems to show a teenager in the angst of teenagerhood and how much
True.
So yes, he complains, but I feel like every teenager, on top of that, there's the element of his own mental health and how he's able to navigate that. So I kind of think this novel, when you think about that it was written in 1951, it's probably pretty ahead of its time in examining someone going through that. And I love it. You'll find out as we're going through these book reviews, I really enjoy books that like just get into someone's head. And if you're gonna look for a voice in a book, if you want to know like an author who's created something authentic and has made a character just seem so real with a live voice, like you could hear them in your head, this is it. Like, I just think you can hear who this guy is, and whether you like him or you don't like him, you know what he's about. So I personally enjoyed it, and I would recommend it. I think it's required reading in some schools still. So I don't know. You guys can tell us about what you know about that too. But anything else?
I mean, I think your point about it being like a teenager, I think that's true. You become more self-aware of the world as you grow up. So maybe your argument in regards of like, it is very much a teenager, like just very much in what his viewpoint is. I guess it's a good point. But no, I think these books were great and so fun. And I hope that some of you decide to pick them up as well. Please feel free to comment down below if you did read them, and maybe you, like Megan, or can help us see a different viewpoint or share what you liked about them as well. We would love to find out and hear about it. Also, remember to like, subscribe, and share. And follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We'll have that link down below for you. And thanks for joining us on Sister Goals.
Have a great day.
Have a great
Bye.
Bye, everyone.